Hey guys, Elias here, and in this Guild Wars 2 video I'm going to be talking about leveling up your character to level 80 in the quickest time possible. Now I know there are a million different guides on YouTube, however I have not really found one that caters to, I've not really found any that that have been released since the release of Heart of Thorns. So obviously with the release of Heart of Thorns, I'm going to make one, and Bloodstone Fen, Living World Season 3. I'm going to, of course, include those in my guide. So first things first, obviously the quickest way to level up a character to 80 is with a level 80 boost. Now you get this from purchasing the Heart of Thorns expansion, and after claiming it on your account, you'll be able to visit the Silver Wastes. You can make a level 1 character, go and use the item that's given in your inventory, and you'll be put to level 80 for a short while, a sort of tutorial mode for level 80, and you'll be sent to the Silver Wastes where you can try out some free gear, and yeah, and then if you want to keep the level 80 boost, you simply talk to the level 80 mentor guy, and well, there you go, you're level 80. And not to mention the fact that you also get a numerous amount of boosters, and you also get a full set of exotic level 80 gear, which is, going to save you a lot of money in the long run, even if you did, of course, spend $20 to $40 on, or pounds or euros, on the actual Heart of Thorns expansion itself. Now, of course, this only works for people that are free to play and haven't purchased Heart of Thorns, or perhaps have only just bought Heart of Thorns, already have their characters at level 80, and so they haven't had a character to use the level 80 boost on. So this only works for a very, very select few people, but it is of course the quickest way to level 80, and also the quickest way to get a full set of exotic gear. Now the one thing I will say about that is that when I leveled up my Mesmer, I was brand new to the game. I'd only been playing for a couple of days. I didn't know the intricacies of the game. I didn't know how the game worked in a lot of respects. I didn't know how to build a Mesmer. I didn't know anything about the game. And so for people that don't know anything about the game or know very little about the game, I would not recommend using the level 80 boost. Although of course you can use the level 80 boost and then still play the game as a newbie, staying in the low level areas, doing the Karma Hearts, learning about doing the personal story, and all that jazz as well. But another the point I was trying to get at there is that when I did boost my Mesmer to level 80, I got a full set of soldier's gear. Now most people will say that, Mesmer is either a Condi, condition damage build, or Berserker's build. And for some reason the game thought it would be a great idea to give me a full set of soldiers, which of course is, I think it's power, toughness and vitality or something like that, which of course is not the build you want for a Mesmer. But needless to say, you still have that level 80 exotic gear. So moving on to the second way of leveling up to 80 the quickest, and that is of course Tomes of Knowledge. Now of course you could say this is one of the slowest methods, because in order to gather up 80 or 79 Tomes of Knowledge is going to take you a fair amount of PvP, playing PvP to get that. You get one per tier of your reward track, and of course because it's at the end, just before you get the chest, the big tier chest, it's about 2, 3, perhaps even 4 games before you get your tomes of knowledge. So you're looking at about 320 games, because 80 times 4, that's 160, that's 300, yeah, so 320 games of PvP before you'll have your 80 tomes of knowledge. You also get them on the 4th day of every week of the login reward, and you also can get quite a few from the chest of loyalty at the end of every month of login rewards, which I'll show you now, as long as I don't get attacked by Dredge. So as you can see here, sorry, on the 6th day of every week, of course, because a week is 7 days, stupid me, you get one on the 6th day, and they go up. You start at 1, and then you go to 2, 3, and 4. So that's 3, 6, 10 tomes of knowledge, and I think it is 6 from the chest of loyalty, so that is 16 tomes of knowledge per month. So if you're not creating a new character right now, if you only chose tomes of knowledge for your chest of loyalty, you could get 32 in 2 months. It will take a while. 64 in 4 months, and then at the end of the 5th month you would have your 80 tomes of knowledge. So that's another way to get tomes of knowledge, but again, obviously they are the quickest way to level up a character, but they're not exactly the quickest to obtain, so that is of course the payoff. Now the third quickest way, and most definitely the most expensive way to level up a character, is by maxing out, or at least getting to level 400 with every crafting profession. Now the last couple of guides I watched on YouTube used this method, but the people making the guides seemed to think that every player in Guild Wars 2 that had been playing for more than 2 months should have, or would have, 200, 300 gold to spare. Which I can assure you, or at least in my case, a lot of people do not have that amount of gold. Now the last guide I did see say that you could of course buy gems. He recommended getting the 1600 gem pack for £17.50, €20, $20. And then of course transferring those gems into gold, which I think at current rate, I think it nets you about 300 gold, I believe it is at the moment. If the trading post will load, of course. So as you can see, 250 gold at the current rate is 1,085 gems. It's actually quite low for once.
Maybe shooting stars are just normal stars that have moved very close to us.
Then why do they go so fast? I'm not convinced they're the same.
Yeah, so you're looking at about 360 gold, so that would be enough. Although you are, of course, spending £17 or $20 or €20 to level up a character. Which, just to maybe cut out on 3 or 4 days of just normal everyday gameplay seems like quite an expensive deal, really. Of course, you could go on to key selling websites that sell the 2,000 gem cards for the same price, so you could get a bit of a better deal. But again, you're still looking at spending real world money just to level up your character a bit quicker. Which is not, it's not the best way about going about it. It's the best way to go about things. I will say though that people who have been playing for a long time and have banks full of loot in their inventory, banks full of loot and materials, you could probably bypass quite a bit of that cost, but it is still going to cost a fair bit of gold anyway. Now, moving on to the more obvious methods, you of course have world completion, world bosses, you know, just literally playing Guild Wars 2. You can quite easily get to level 20 by doing a couple of areas, and of course the first part of the main story where you get a free Black Lion chest key, so that's always a good thing. And I did mention that in my, I did do a video on key farming, which I still haven't uploaded yet, or at least not at the time of making this video. But
My knowledge grows.
yeah, kind of forgot what I was talking about. As I said in the key farming video, the quickest character slash race, whatever, to level up is a human commoner. A human under the commoner's path. It's very easy, and of course, if you are following the story, the living, you know, the personal story, sorry. I would recommend completing Queensdale. I would recommend completing a large part of Kessex Hills, Queensdale, bit of Gendaran Fields, and Lornar's Pass. I am dead. Because you'll find that for the living story, the personal story, you will be visiting many places in Queensdale, a few places in Kessex Hills, a few places in Gendaran Fields, and a few places in Lornar's Pass. Or if you've gone with the Vigil, it will be even more of Gendaran Fields, because I went with the Priory, so Priory is Lornar's Pass. Vigil is Gendaran Fields, and the Order of Whispers is Bloodtide Coast. Now, of course, these areas, Lornar's Pass is, of course, 25 to 40, so you will have to, you know, you can go in there a bit earlier, but you'll probably find it quite difficult. I believe Gendaran Fields is also 25 to 35. So, looking at this, I mean, the quickest way to do it is complete Queensdale. You'll get, I think, about at least level 15, level 20. If you complete the personal story along with it. You can complete Divinity's Reach, of course, for another nice amount of XP and a couple of transmutation charges. By completing Queensdale, you get a nice amount of XP and perhaps a chance at a Black Lion chest key. Then move on to Kessex Hills. By that time, you will be level 25, or probably maybe even level 30, because at level 20 you will unlock the next part of the personal story. Again, with Kessex Hills, you'll get a nice amount of XP for completing it, and perhaps another chance at a Black Lion chest key. And as you can imagine, the same thing goes for Gendaran Fields, Lornar's Pass, and Bloodtide Coast. And once you've completed that, along with the cities, which take 5 minutes, you should be level 60, 65. And then if you focus on the main story, you should be around level 70. Now at level 70, I find that playing the vanilla Tyrian maps, that's where it starts to fall off and become extremely, extremely grindy. Now I have found a workaround to this with other characters, and that is simply going into Auric Basin and Verdant Brink. Now I wouldn't recommend going into either of those Heart of Thorn maps. Obviously they require Heart of Thorns expansion, but I wouldn't recommend going in there at less than level 70, because quite frankly you won't do enough damage to tag a lot of the enemies, and you won't get any XP from the events. However, I can say that with a level 70 engineer running full rampages at the time, I was able to tag the mobs, the hero point mobs, and I think I also managed to do the Auric Basin Octovine event, and I leveled from 70 to 80 in probably about an hour of gameplay. If not, maybe 2 hours. including the Octovine. But you do get a lot of XP, and of course you get boosted XP for visiting the waypoints and the points of interest and the vistas and all that. And of course by then you are level 80. Now I will say that on my engineer I didn't even, I pretty much completed the battle for Claw Island, got my Black Lion chest key from there, and haven't played, I have not played the personal story after that. So I'm still on level 60, I'm still on the level 60 part of the personal story with my engineer. So it is possible to stop at level 60, do a bit more map completion, world events, world bosses, the works, and then head straight into the level 80 maps. Maybe even, you may be able to even, if you don't have Heart of Thorns, you may even be able to do Silver Wastes, Dry Top, those two maps. Of course you can do Ore as well. But I prefer Auric Basin and Verdant Brink because of course you get the airship parts, a nice amount of XP and some pretty decent exotic rewards which you can sell and make some money with. Whereas with Ore is just tedious. Ore is tedious dullness in my opinion, especially seeing as the enemies in Ore are just, I hate the Risen. So I wouldn't personally recommend doing Ore, although that is probably the most common way of getting from 60 to 80, but there we go. So I have definitely gone on for long enough, but those are the main ways of leveling up your character from 1 to 80. If you do have, harking back to the crafting method, if you do have 150, 200 gold on you because you've recently transferred gems or something and you don't know what to spend it on, and you've got a level 1 or level 2 or level 5 character, then and you are going to use the crafting method, then definitely use the Guild Wars 2 crafts.net website. They offer a very easy to follow and very detailed guide on what to do to get from 1 to 40 in the quickest time possible and the smallest amount and the cheapest way possible. So just thought I'd say that quickly.
We need to talk, Innkeeper. You've taken something.
Right, so I have gone on for way too long here. My voice has probably got boring for most of you already. So I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope this helps somebody and see you in the next one.